Well, hello, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo. And as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, man, this literally does not work. Let's get open for business here on this hump day. And guys, at least our team is still playing. At least some of our team is still playing. They're playing in the Pro Bowl. And our coaching staff is still playing deep into the NFL season because they're coaching the Pro Bowl team. Yeah, well, that's not as good as being in the Super Bowl, but it's all we got. I mean, it's all we got. Oh, yeah. Well, it seems like there's some good news at least. It looks like the Cowboys and DeMarcus Ware are on the same page. Excuse me. DeMarcus Lawrence are on the same page at wanting to get a long-term deal done. Now the question is what are the numbers? So we know it's going to be like 20 million a year, Khalil Mack, Aaron Donald type money and stuff, which is deserved. I mean, let's face it, 2 years in a row he's played lights out and he's ready to rock and roll. So I'm happy about that. Now the bad thing right now is we just not been to Super Bowl in too long. I hate the fact that Tom Brady has been to the Super Bowl 9 times since the Dallas Cowboys have been there. That the freaking Rams have been there now 3 times since the last time the Cowboys were there. That the New York stinking Giants have been there 3 times since we've been there. And even the Eagles have been there twice since we've been there. Let that sink in. What Jerry Jones said today, he said he wants to host a Super Bowl again. I guess if you can't get there, at least host one there. Now, I got to tell you, I have been blessed in my life. I have been to Super Bowls in many, many cities. I mean, my first one was in Houston. I returned to Houston and have another one. I've had 2 in Miami, and I saw the halftime show to end all halftime shows, seeing Prince singing Purple Rain in the Rain is something that literally will stick with me for the rest of my life. I've been in New Orleans. Oh my God. I've been to Detroit for a Super Bowl. And I got to tell you, Detroit was not bad because Detroit was so happy to have the Super Bowl. The people were incredible. I've been to one in Tampa. I've been to one in Jacksonville. I've been to one in New York City, which don't ever take one back to New York City. Don't ever, NFL, take one back to New York City. Let's see, where else? Arizona. I've been to 2 in Arizona. Let me think, where else? Indianapolis, Lucas Oil Stadium. That's a nice spot. And I was at the one in Dallas. And as you can see here, I remember we were actually supposed to fly in on Tuesday, but we couldn't get in because there was an ice storm. That wasn't the Dallas Cowboys' fault. Not at all. It was literally from Texas all the way through the East Coast. Flights were canceled all over the place. We actually ended up flying in then Wednesday because it was so bad. And I got to tell you, I was glad that I was doing the driving because people in Texas can't drive in the snow. And since they had only 3 snowplows in Dallas, it was bad for days. My thoughts on the Dallas Cowboys hosting a Super Bowl. There's not a better venue in the world to have that Super Bowl in. To have that Jumbotron and to have the amount of seating in there, that is great. It is unbelievable. But I got to tell you, the problem with having the Super Bowl there was everything was spread out logistically. What was funny was when we got there, looking at the stadium, over here on this side, let me zoom this in a little bit. I believe it's over here on this side, there's the Tom Landry statue, and there's also the Dallas Cowboys shop over there. So you come out the shop, you turn to the left, there's the statue. Well, right there past the statue is, like Michael said, is our stone.
One of them.
One of them, right. On the other side, in the Tom Landry section, the player's entrance, right smack dab in the middle, is the other one, Jobu Sports Report.
They walk over ours all the time.
When we got there on Wednesday, we did my first stadium tour. And I'd had my stone there since the place opened, so this was my first opportunity to see it. But there was so much snow, and the snow was falling off the roof that we weren't actually able to go out there. And again, the snow was not their fault. That was one of those 100-year issues that came up, I would say. But they had snow fall off the roof that actually injured people. But that still was not the issue there. The problem with that Super Bowl was they got greedy. That stadium is a hell of a lot bigger than, say, Detroit's. And they tried to build all these temporary seatings that they didn't get a permit for. So there was literally like 5,000 people who purchased tickets that couldn't get in there. And logistically, we spent 3.5 hours trying to get through security to get into the game. Some of the people in our group literally got to their seats as the national anthem was going off. And again, the other problem too was there's some of the stuff in Arlington, there was some of the stuff in Irving, there was some stuff that was in Fort Worth. So everything was spread out. So that made it kind of difficult because if you're going to Ron Jaworski's party, that's someplace else, and NFL Experience, that was at someplace else. And you just spent so much time driving, and with the snow, it was bad. So I'm going to be honest with you, of all places to have a Super Bowl, Miami's great because you got South Beach. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with going in this time of year to South Beach and hanging out on South Beach. But that really wasn't the spot. Tampa, we went to Clearwater because our anniversary is right around the Super Bowl. That was nice going to Clearwater before because it was a little bit warm. You could see the sunset, out there. It was beautiful. And Tampa had more I think Tampa has a strip club per person there because every corner had a freaking strip club. Not that I hang in strip clubs, but they had a freaking UFO that was a strip club. How are you going to have a strip club that's a UFO? But that wasn't it. Jacksonville, oh boy, walked forever through the neighborhoods to get to the stadium. That was experience. And that is the flattest, biggest city I've ever seen. Oh my God. I remember when we were driving in, there was a Shell gas station where the S was burned out. So instead of Shell, it was just hell. And that's exactly what it was in Jacksonville. Detroit, it snowed, but they embraced it. It was good. Detroit was good. But I'm going to tell you the best place to have a Super Bowl is New Orleans. Because when you go to New Orleans, one, you've got Bourbon Street. Everybody has to experience Bourbon Street at least once in your life. The food. Every time I go to New Orleans, I gain 5 pounds. The shrimp poor boys, you go to Mama's and have that fret sandwich. Oh my God, the food. Mwah. The music, the jazz. But the key thing about New Orleans is, once you get into New Orleans, it's a convention city. They got everything you need right there. You don't need a car. You can walk from your hotel room to Bourbon Street, get your drunk on, have your food and everything else, and then walk right over to the stadium. Oh, they got the trolleys to go all over the place. So if you want to go out and see some of the historic cemeteries and stuff, see Marie Laveau, the voodoo priestess, see her crypt, do that. Or you can go to the casino or the convention center. You literally don't need a car. Sorry, I forgot to zoom out. So, Jerry, after being there, Jerry, after having that experience that we had where people couldn't get in, after having 3.5 hours of time to get through security, logistically, I hope that if you do get it, because again, there's not a better place in the world to watch that game, that logistically you could do it like you did the draft. The draft, easy in, easy out. Everybody had a ball. I was there for all 3 days. But definitely, we got to step up on the Super Bowl in Dallas. I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts. But again, I hope it goes back to New Orleans again real soon. The only problem with New Orleans was the lights went out. And I got to tell you, I was at the concession stand when they went out and that place went dark. And it was like, oh my God, that was scary. But we'll see. Jerry wants to have the big show again. We'll see if it happens. I'm Mark Holmes, and I'll see you soon.